So first I would like to know about the signs or the symptoms of the second aspect, which is the wounded inner child. What are the signs and symptoms of it?
Well, I'm going to make a bit of an extreme statement, but I will say that all dysfunctionality that we have as adults are rooted into childhood.
Okay.
Because as human beings, unless there are no serious genetic dysfunction, which is the exception, we are formed, we're good, we are powerful, we are smart, naturally, innately, and we have very little reason to mess up. And the messing up, all the dysfunctions that we have as adults, the emotional immaturity, the confused thinking, the aggressivity, the violence that we have, the depressions, all of that is coming from childhood emotions that have not been released and healed. So I will say that almost all the dysfunction are symptoms of a wounded child. And to give a bit of a picture of that, there are three main packets of behavior that reveal a wounded child. The first one is depression, and all the emotions and attitudes and behavior that are around depression, which are boredom, laziness, what we call laziness, lack of motivation, lack of meaning. You look at life and say, so what? So what? So all those kind of attitudes and behavior are the sign of a wounded child. And then you've got another packet, which is the exact opposite, which is all the behavior related with aggression. Because every time we are hurt, we have a choice. Either we go into, oh, poor me, it was painful, and we go into fear, and we contract and we close ourselves, and we lose self-esteem, and we go in depression. Or we turn that hurt, and the first case we do it because we think we are the cause of the hurt. I've been hurt because I am weak, I'm not strong, I am bad in some way, I'm not intelligent. That's why I've been hurt. We take the blame on ourselves. And we dive into low self-esteem and depression. Now there's another possible response, which are again symptoms of a wounded child, which is aggression. We don't take the blame on ourselves, we put it on someone else. So this is my mother, my father. If I'm not happy, it's because of an external factor, and therefore I'm going to try to fix that external factor. So you have behaviors that are more aggressive, which range from anger, complaining, blaming, and some people are stuck into chronic complaining. You wake up in the morning, you have a complaint in your head and a list of complaints. There's a wounded child behind that. Bullying, trying to control others, being aggressive in all those forms that we see in society and in families. And of course, aggressive towards oneself also. So this is the second big packet of symptoms which reveals a wounded child. And the third one is, many people will not like so much what I'll share now, but never mind, let's share it because it's true. The third packet of behavior that reveals a wounded child are consumerism, which means all that conception that we have of buying things, eating things, watching movies, scrolling social medias, all those distractions that we use as a way of running away from the internal discomfort. Because a wounded inner child means there is something inside me that hurts. There's something inside me that's not happy. There's something inside me that feels a sense of discomfort. And so I need to make a choice. Either I look at it and I heal it, or I distract myself. So all those behaviors that are ways of distracting ourselves from the inner discomfort, because a wounded child reveals itself through an emotion of inner discomfort. We're not so happy. We may look externally okay, but inside there's something that's dragging its feet. There's something that, you wake up in the morning and you're not in a good mood and you need to make yourself into a good mood. So all those consumerist patterns are ways of distracting ourselves. And for many of us, they've become addictive.
That's true.
Because unless we look in our own heart and we heal those things, which is not difficult. It's really not difficult. It's no more difficult to heal a wounded child than to heal a wounded piece of skin. It's not difficult. But for some reason, we don't know. No one has told us how to do that. So we tend to take the easy route, which is distraction. And that's how we end up addicted with, toxic food or scrolling social media for 4 hours a day or just getting out instead of being with ourselves.
I'm just thinking how many of us will be able to accept this fact that we all are in a distraction mode.
Yes.
And healing becomes difficult because we are in denial mode that we need healing, or we are wounded, or we are carrying our childhood wounds.
Yes. The dramatic thing is that, this is what is actually driving the consumerist society. Because what we are living in here today, the world we're living in, we call it development. Okay, it's a very beautiful word, and it's true, there is development. But the world we are living in is called the consumerist society. And I'm coming from Europe. We had that back in the 60s. It started big way in the 60s. And so I know the pattern. And the consumerist society is built on your own discomfort. Because as long as you're not comfortable, as long as you feel not enough, as long as you feel low self-esteem, then you are a good consumer, you're a good buyer, you're a good client. And so the whole of today's world is geared like this. It's geared to make us feel not enough so that we buy stuff to fill the hole.
And this concept applies to at least cosmetic worlds very well.
The whole of today's world is geared in that direction. That's why when you read the news, you only read bad news. There are millions of good things happening every day, but no one reports them. But a crime, yes, we report. Because it supports the discomfort, it supports the fear.
But then what kind of development is it? If we are developing, then what kind of development?
And this is a personal choice. I have to really learn to use all the good things that modern society is also bringing, because it does bring a number of very good things. But I need to be able to use them for my growth rather than for becoming addicted.
Yeah. So like we talked about the signs of wounded child. So it will be another great help if we can talk about what causes those wounds.